Now, here's some food for thought. At first, no one bothered to look into George Santos. Why? Because Robert Zimmerman, who was going to run against him, he didn't have that kind of money and resources. The media wasn't really paying attention to that race. There was a novel aspect to it. It's the first time you had a gay man as a Republican, a gay man openly, both of them, as a Democrat running against each other in a congressional race, two different parties. That was interesting. The district was different. That was interesting. But nobody was looking because nobody really cared. And you can criticize that. But that's how it's always been, okay? Now it seems like everybody can't get enough of this. And they're going to investigate this congressman-elect from Long Island. They're going to dissect every shred of every lie he ever told. And do you know why? Because you care. Because you're paying attention. And that's how the game works. Once there's interest in something, once it has currency, once it's a commodity, it's not just about being wrong. Do you know how many members of Congress they could scrub and find stuff? I don't know about on the order of this guy. But I see Santos as a metaphor for the system and the game, and I'll get to that, okay? Look, the big stick on him right now is going to be the law, specifically federal law, specifically federal filings for the election through the FEC that may contain fraudulent statements. All right? The Daily Beast just identified 4 of his corporate clients who gave him allegedly millions of dollars. Santos admitted to the Daily Beast that he tapped his corporate accounts to pay for his campaign. Now, that's getting into dicey legal territory. That's because the government wants to block candidates from possibly using a shell company to fund campaigns and hide donors, although you can already do that legally. Dark money is legal, and it's a huge problem in our system. But this is another set of laws, and maybe Santos ran afoul for them. If he did, he's going to have bigger teeth biting into him than just the media. Democrats calling for his resignation makes sense. Republicans have largely been silent. Makes sense, because that's how you play the game. I think there are 2 of them who are joining the cry for a criminal investigation. It's interesting, in the team writing this tonight, they say at least 2. Think about how pathetic that is. The guy lies about everything that is material to people deciding to vote for him. He wins by 8 points, but at least 2 Republicans are in favor of an investigation. Wow, that's great. How pathetic. It's all about the game. And whether you got an R or a D, you flip the letters, everything changes. And that's what bothers me. Look, as for the legal piece of this, there's going to be action. I don't know how Santos survives what's coming his way. I really don't. Anybody who's around him in the party who's going to start talking to him, I guarantee you, they're calling him and saying, you got to think about stepping aside. I guarantee you that. He's going to stop giving interviews also. Know that. Here's what the Nassau DA said today. The numerous fabrications and inconsistencies associated with Congressman-elect Santos are nothing short of stunning. Now, I don't know what Nassau County or even New York State has. I don't know if there are any local filings that they could look at to get them, but it's just showing that the game is afoot now. Remember, the Nassau County prosecutor, that's an elected position too, right? Now the guy's bleeding, right? So now that he's bleeding, there's currency in sinking your teeth into this situation. Opportunism runs amok in the game. Right? We must have an honest and accountable representative in Congress, says the Nassau County DA. It's true. No one is above the law, and if a crime was committed in this county, we will prosecute it. Nassau County District Attorney Ann T. Donnelly, a Republican. Now, that last part is the only thing that matters to me. You need to have people talking about their own, okay? It's very important. You don't care if a Democrat says that a Republican is dirty. You don't, because even if you don't buy into the game, even if you're an independent, that's the way we take it in. You expect them to say that. What you don't expect is for them to go bad on their own. In fact, even the way I say that makes it sound like some kind of mobbish reference to being a rat, like it's a bad thing. That's how bad the game is. That's how corrupt we are. That's how corrosive it is to our mindsets. So anyway, if you want to know the particulars of it, I still think there's a bigger point to make, and I will. But really, the locus of the problem isn't just him lying about being Jewish, lying about where he worked, lying about where he went to school. once you get into the filings, in 2020, he filed with the U.S. House Clerk claiming not too much earnings. 2022, he had millions. Well, maybe he just did better in life. The FEC filings from 2020 show he loaned his campaign more than $81,000. In 2022, he loaned more than $700,000, nearly as much as his salary at the DeVolder organization. DeVolder is like part of his last name. It's like DeVolder Santos. And the question is that money something that's been moved around in a shell game? Did he create DeVolder just before his run for Congress in 2019, restating it just last week? Did he use that as a vehicle of opportunity to fund his campaign? Now, look, again, I don't think that he can withstand this level of scrutiny because I think he's got real problems. But that's not what I think is important about the situation. Of course, it's wrong that the guy lied. But that's what this game gives us. That's what it yields. This is the kind of person that wants to get involved. The guy that you know, that is the local businessman, who's honest as the day is long, who calls you up, who helps you with whatever it is, he doesn't want to get into this game. He may want to serve. The woman you know, who raises herself through the ranks and becomes someone who's running a hospital, who really cares about the community and sees ways that this can be fixed, she doesn't want to get involved with this game. Have people rake through her life and the one DUI that, was questionable back when she was 20, 25 years ago that's going to get thrown in her face and all these stupid questions she's going to get asked about these culture wars. They don't want to be in the game. It's too ugly. It's too cheap. The funny thing is that Santos made it this far because nobody cared enough about him to look into him and find a way to destroy him. You see, that is what I see here. Santos is the system. This is who you get. This is what works. These are the inclinations. Not all of them. Not all of them. There are many good men and women in public service. But increasingly, the zero-sum game where the only way you win is because you make the other side lose. This is what it yields. Guys like this. It's not that I'm not bothered by Santos. It's not that I think lying is okay. But it's why when some of you think you're flattering me by saying, hey, you should run for office, I roll my eyes and lament it. We got to be able to do better than me. We've got to be able to do better than a TV anchor. You've got to get the best in your society, who build things, who make things, who employ people, who work in these situations, who understand them from the inside out so they can come as leaders and make these systems better. And you're not going to get them in this game because it is all about destruction. I just can't believe Santos made it this far. You changed the guy's letter at the end of his name, from an R to a D. And man, McCarthy would be loud and proud about this. Loud and proud. Look at these Democrats. Look at what they're about. Just for this seat. That doesn't really matter, okay? The seat doesn't really matter. It doesn't change the balance of Congress. But it does show, it does matter in showing you that party beats country 10 times out of 10. You see the same naked game of advantage in these anti-trans bills that are going around the states now. States' rights, 10th Amendment, all real, all good, all profound as a part of our constitutional republic. But it's also been a political device for avoiding equity. You do a little Google about slavery and what the waves of pushback were in this country, and you'll see that state rights was used as a way of avoiding a national rule. We're seeing it again now with trans. It's just a culture war. People don't like it. They're uncomfortable with it. And we fear what's uncomfortable for us, what's new, what's different. We don't like it. It scares us. Now, you want to discuss guidelines for kids and what it means when they get treated for body dysphoria or other aspects of trans-related treatment? That's okay. There's a real conversation to be had there. I know some people won't like having it, but that's too bad. You need to talk about things that matter, especially where kids are involved. But defining male and female, see, this is the game. We know what male and female means. No, they're changing it. No, it's about identity. What you believe about yourself. What I believe about myself doesn't affect you. Well, you're going to make me call you something that I don't want. Really? That's what you need to worry about. Forwarding this nonsense as a fake debate to confuse and distract from what really matters in our polity. For what? Respect for science? Please. Please. The same people fighting that fight, don't even want to really talk about whether or not global warming is a real thing. It's always been hot and then cold. That's what I see here. The game.